Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Asia Rugby Live, Real Talk, Real Rugby, where, of course, we talk to people from all over the world of rugby 24/7. And this week, we have another topic, which is captains of the game. But before we talk about that, I would like to update everyone on the news of what happened over the weekend. Super Rugby Aotearoa, that was amazing. Two games that happened over the weekend, which is between the Chiefs and also the Highlanders, which they were picked just in a nail biter. The Highlanders defeated Chiefs 28-27, and on Sunday the Blues, they won against a great Hurricane side 30-20. And of course, Asia Rugby also has a few news of their own. Qualification process for the 2023 Rugby World Cup was announced in next year's Asia Rugby Championship. That will be the Rugby World Cup qualification pathways for the tournament. And Asia Rugby launches a few campaigns this week, which is the Asia Rugby Reloaded. They're going to show the past tournaments and past games on Facebook, on social media, and also Champions of Development, which looks in depth at the people behind the growth of rugby in Asia. Don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube for Asia Rugby. Where's the button? Let me see. Yeah, subscribe. Don't forget to press the like button and also the there you go, the bell button, so that you receive notifications in the future for there be any new content from Asia Rugby. And also, if you want to get updated in regards with rugby news from Asia, go to asiarugby.com. I think that's about it. Why not let me introduce you to the four special guests that we have today, captains of the game. Number one, we have Pei Yi from Singapore, and she is right now in the
Hi.
comfort of the office. Pei Yi, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, so I mean, we are still in kind of like a semi-lockdown in Singapore, so we're not quite back to 100% yet over here, so no gatherings and stuff. So we've been working out from home. I mean, we are given an exercise program, so we do our workouts, our runs, speed training, and everything. And of course, you get creative with your home-based workouts. If you have no dumbbells, you just use whatever weights you can find. Yeah. But we do Zoom workouts as well, so that's how we motivate each other and the team together. Yeah, but
Oh,
all in
that's
all,
great that
still good.
you. Yeah, that's great that you still work out right during this period.
Yeah, we have to.
At least, yeah, of course, you need to stay fit, right? You are the captain, so you need to be the fittest.
Oh,
Anyway, the next guest I would like to introduce is from Guam, Olivia Elliott. Olivia is currently in her office, and she is a nurse. And I guess that's a great thing. You are streaming from your office. You can take some time off, and at least thank you for spending some time with us with Asia Rugby Live.
Yes, of course. Glad to be here.
How are you doing? How's Guam in general?
I'm doing good. It's hot all year round, and we're just starting to open up the community, so we should be we're a little uneasy here at the hospital at work because we're anticipating, trout flights coming in and people going to the malls and restaurants. So we're anticipating, what's to come in terms of the coronavirus. So just kind of bearing down, keeping in shape, and staying busy.
Are you a frontliner?
Yes, I work in the ICU here on Guam at our local
Wow.
hospital.
Amazing. Thank you for the great job that you've been doing for Guam generally. And of course, I think for the world especially during these hard times. And yeah, keep up the good work. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for the sacrifices and everything that you have done so far. The next guest I would like to introduce is from Bangladesh, Alisa Islam. Alisa, how are you doing? How's things in Bangladesh?
Hi everyone. Yeah, so Bangladesh, unfortunately, our cases are still rising. Therefore, lockdown is still very prevalent. Everyone's working from home. We try and keep in contact as much as possible with, Zoom calls, WhatsApp groups. But yeah, unfortunately, we're still all stuck at home. So that's the situation there.
I'm sure things will get better for everyone and for you guys in Bangladesh, and we pray that things will get better for you guys soon. And the last guest that I would like to introduce, she's from West Asia, from Lebanon. That's Kay Bardawil, and she's the captain for Lebanon. Hey Kay, how are you doing? How's things there in Lebanon? Is it hot now? I heard it's very hot now in Lebanon.
Hello, first of all, thanks for having me. It is pretty hot, not too much, just like it's fresh, but things have started to open up here in Lebanon. 2 weeks ago, we started going through the phases out of the lockdown. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're trying to go to play a bit of beach rugby every now and then with groups of 6 to 8 people. Well, yeah, that's the situation here in Lebanon.
Oh, that's great. Good to know that things are opening up in every countries that we are speaking to. And like I said just now, hopefully things will get better and better, and hopefully tournaments will start, and we can see each other traveling between countries for rugby, and for just for visitation or for tourism and stuff like that. Okay, you know what, since the topic today is captains of the game, of course we're going to focus on that. Pei Yi, how's the rugby situation in your country right now?
Right now, I mean,
Yeah.
situation, we're just all at home, so we are just working out at home and just following the program given to us by the SNC coach. Yeah, and we are definitely looking forward to getting back up on the field again. I haven't touched the overboard in a while. Yeah.
So, what's the plans for Singapore rugby? Have you heard of anything that's going to happen after the circuit breaker is going to end?
Well, firstly, we're definitely going to go back into the gym first, like that's for sure. And then
Mm-hmm.
thereafter, I'm not sure because I heard for Asia Rugby, everything in the third quarter is currently cancelled. So we're just waiting for more news before we can move on from here, I guess. But yeah, nothing much as of now.
Right. How about UK? How's the rugby situation in Lebanon currently? Okay, I think K has been disconnected. No, no worries. Okay. How about Olivia? In Guam, how's the rugby situation in Guam right now? Are there plans, to restart rugby, to go back on the field and stuff?
Well, we had a really great calendar set up for men's and women's. I think we were expecting to host the Philippines here for some friendlies, but due to the coronavirus, everything's been put off. But I think we're still looking to pick up with local tournaments, even though the Asia Rugby calendar has been canceled for the rest of the year. In terms of the national team or the Guam team, we're all just training from home, trying to keep in shape until we get more news, like Pei said, and just kind of move from there. But we're hoping that we get back on the field, hopefully by the end of this year, at least for local tournaments and local promotions.
Right, Alisa, what's the plans for Bangladesh rugby? Is there like any plans to get back into the game after you guys have finished your lockdown and stuff?
Yeah, so the Rugby Federation here, our development team is working really hard, and most of them are volunteers, yet they put so much time into it. As I mentioned before, we use Zoom calls, so nearly every week we keep updated on just how the situation's going. And most people are from different parts of Bangladesh as well, not just the capital in Dhaka, which I currently am in. So we get information on news from all the different towns and districts and just how they're trying to either stay fit, what they're doing. Our plan was this year to get a proper core team that we can focus on and develop. As you guys know, Bangladesh is still quite new to rugby, so we're really focusing on the awareness of rugby, and they're doing that at a huge scale. If you compare it to just this year and last year, the amount of people that know of rugby is a substantial amount. So I'm really hopeful for not just developing the awareness of rugby, but also developing this core group that we can take, to the international level and start competing in that way.
And I'm sure when you mentioned volunteers just now, they are doing a great job doing, what they are doing, which is developing and also promoting the game. And because of that, one day Bangladesh will be out there. And I pray that you guys will do all right in terms of growing the game in Bangladesh. Uh, in Singapore, Pei Yi, uh,
Mhm.
if we talk about rugby development and stuff like that, of course you've gone through that process in your own personal experience. Can you talk us through that experience that you've gone through, that process of getting to know rugby and to where you are right now?
Yeah, so in Singapore, it's a little bit different in the sense, like, as in quite similar to the rest of Asia, I think. Most of for us, for ladies, we start pretty late into the game. We only start in the tertiary level. So for the men's side, they learn of the game much earlier. They can pick up the game in primary school, secondary school leading up. So there is that baseline. Whereas for the women's side, we only start picking up the game only in our later years, so around the tertiary level. For me, I picked up the sport when I was in my university. So I was playing hockey before this, and then my course mate actually told me to come and try this new sport, like because for an elective module, it's like a sports elective module. So I went along with her, and then thereafter we just joined the school team as well, and then that's how I picked up the game. That was in 2012, I think. Yeah. And thereafter, I think I went through a couple of development teams under the development side of Singapore Rugby before I joined the site in 2016. Yeah, so that's how I came along.
I'd just like to
Oh, that's
add to what Pei was saying about how, at least on the male side, they start the full rugby experience a little earlier. In my high school, we had men's rugby, but for women, it was touch rugby. And I really didn't
Mm-hmm.
even think of the fact that, we had full contact rugby for women until I went to university and I started playing
Yeah.
for my university team. So shout out to Temple University there, and all the friends I made there. So I think that age difference, that even if I started playing a couple years earlier, maybe I would have more experience or more allowance to play more. So
Yeah,
yeah, I would really like
precisely.
to see
Yeah.
rugby introduced earlier.
Yeah,
Oh
that's for
yeah,
sure.
cool. Uh, Hopefully, probably in the future, we can see countries like Singapore, like Malaysia, like Bangladesh, Guam, for rugby to be included in a part of the curriculum. So that will be a
Yes.
great development tool for rugby, I guess, all over. Um, b- if you talk about development, probably Guam has a different view of development because Guam, I guess, in terms of sports, you guys are leaning more towards America. So for you to be involved in rugby, that is like how can you take us through that journey for you,
Um,
Olivia?
well, for me, I started playing when I was in high school, and it's like Alisa, it was flag rugby at the time. The men or the boys were still they were tackling in high school, but the girls were still flag. But just recently, I can't remember back to date, but we have rugby now and our union's done a great job with the strong representatives that we have in introducing rugby into middle school. So we now have middle school rugby. So kids as young as 11 years old are playing flag. And then once they get to high school, both girls and boys is both tackle. And after that, it's kind of hard to continue the interest because a lot of um, the cost. People are going on with their lives, they're having kids, they're getting married. So it's hard to keep them in the loop with rugby and try to keep them looped in if their talent allows for the national team and to travel internationally. And we're such a small island that we only have, we can barely field like four women's teams for local tournaments. So we're pretty much always playing the same constant group of girls. So it's hard, and we really enjoy going off island and playing other teams because it's the only time we get to touch and tackle other bodies. So, um, I think that's, that's kind of our journey here is we start earlier, but we're not able to, continue that interest and that love and that drive, as we get older. So for a lot of us women, it's hard because we have our lives, we have our jobs, we have our education, and then we also have to fundraise to go off island and play in these tours, and we're not sponsored, so it becomes difficult, and that's where we lose a lot of our talented players from our core group of girls on the national team. So
Well, there must be a lot of challenges for you guys, especially because, in terms of logistics, that you guys are a bit far away from everyone.
yeah,
Especially like if you want to compete in Asia and stuff. So, would you say that's a great challenge for you guys?
yeah, I would definitely say a trip to the United States costs about $1,800 round trip. So when we're talking Asia, we're talking about our hotel stay, our flights, play money, and other things like that. We do have local sponsors, and the union does help, but it doesn't cover entirely the costs and the costs of gas to go to trainings and gear and cleats and all those kind of things. So you're kind of on your own.
How about Kay? How's the development of women's rugby in Lebanon currently?
Well, women's rugby in Lebanon is starting to develop, but we're really targeting on the schools. Like we already have two or three rugby schools in Lebanon. So, for example, we have Jamhour and IC who included rugby in their curriculum. So they have a full-on school team and of all ages, group ages. So we're trying to implement that in more schools, try to get more younger girls involved because usually younger players are men or boys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're trying to develop the local rugby community even more.
How did you get involved in rugby? What's your story?
Well, it's a very random story. I always watched rugby ever since I was 10 or 11. I used to watch internationals. I was fascinated by the All Blacks. And so one friend of mine who was trainer at the gym used to coach a rugby player. So he told her he wanted to start a rugby team.
Kay, are you still there? Okay, so
I'm
probably we
sorry.
have some technical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
Kay, are you still there? Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. No worries. We understand during this period, internet could be a problem everywhere that you are. Sorry, to our audience about that. There's a few times that we have had these problems of people staying at home, so the bandwidth gets shorter, so the internet gets slower and stuff. So yeah, it happens all the time. No worries about that. Anyway, moving forward, Pei, can you take us through the Singapore team performance so far when you have captained the side?
So far, so last year we went to the Sea Games, and then before that we were also in the Asia series. So yeah, we were looking. We did not do as well as expected in the Sea Games last year, but we're definitely looking to get back out there this year. Unfortunately, COVID-19 happened and we were not able to. That's why, but as a team, we are still putting in the hard yards now. So, and waiting for the day that we can get back out on the rugby field. Yeah.
Would you say your strongest, not strongest, as in traditional enemy is Malaysia?
In recent years, yeah. I mean, they have been up and coming, and they're definitely one of the. It's always very exciting to get on the field with them.
Yeah, of course, definitely. And I always, enjoy the encounter between Malaysia and Singapore in the past, be it men's or women's rugby. It's always enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, Alisa, you have been playing rugby. What are the tournaments that Bangladesh have participated in the past before, and in the future, what are the things that you guys have planned for Bangladesh women's rugby?
So last year was actually the first year that Bangladesh was able to mobilize a national team for the women's side. The men's side has been, I think this will be their fourth year. So I was fortunate enough to captain, the first women's national team that played at an international stage. So I'm very fortunate and grateful for that. We plan on focusing right now mainly on the sevens, and hopefully we get to the point where we'll also have a 15s team. But we're looking forward to, depending on what Olivia was saying about the funding and the sponsorship, that's also quite difficult for us as a country, especially because all the sports there is, and also the lack of, I guess, awareness of how important rugby can be. So if we can get enough funding and the team mobilized, we hope to get into every sevens tournament available for us, and hopefully compete through the ranks and really reach further stages in that. So that's really what I'm looking forward to, is getting more access to the international level, playing with higher level people, because that's really how you improve healthy competition.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I guess more the exposure that the more that is you guys are exposed to the international game, the more that you will improve. In terms of Lebanon, how about you guys? In terms of international exposure and also international tournaments.
Yeah, so we first played our first international tournament in the ARC. Usually the men play every year. So in 2018, it was our first time. So we had the tournament in Lebanon while the ARC was going. We had Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Qatar coming in and playing. Honestly, it was amazing. And we went back in 2019 to play in the same tournament, but it was in Qatar. So the problem with international tournaments is that we don't get a lot of funding. So a lot of our girls have to pay for their flights, hotels, and all that stuff. So same as I think Olivia mentioned, that we lose a lot of our players in the national team due to these financial problems. So, but yeah, it's always a great experience to play for the national team, honestly.
Yeah, of course, it's a great experience. I guess you are one of the few privileged, or I guess lucky people to have represented your country in rugby. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Pei Yi, you mentioned the Sea Games just now, the challenge of the
Yeah.
Sea Games. Um, can you share with us some memorable moments that you had with the Asia Rugby Sevens in the past?
Yeah, I mean, every moment with my team is special, but I do remember this one specific personal favorite moment on the field. It was my rookie year, I think, 2016. Yeah, so in 2016, that was a pretty long year for me because it's my first year with the national team as well. So just getting used to the intensity of everything. And that moment happened during the last game of that last tournament of that season. So it was in Colombo. It was the last game. So after how you went through an entire season, and then your body is completely train wrecked and you're so tired. Yeah, so but we knew it was the last game. It's the game that matters most, and you have to just get it out there and get the job done. But in the end, it turned out to be like the longest sevens game I've played ever, because we went into it was at the final whistle. It was still a draw, and then we had to go into extra time or overtime, and then after one round of overtime, it was still a draw, and then we had to go into a double overtime before we finally took home the win. Yeah, so that was a very very memorable moment because it was one of the sweetest victory ever. Yeah. Yeah.
So, were you thankful during the double overtime that you are a trainer, a fit trainer to to play the game?
I guess yeah. It's my teammates. We all pulled each other up. We rose up together as a team. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you know what? Of course, everyone has their own unique stories that you want to share. Probably, Olivia, you want to share some memorable moment that you had before in rugby?
I think it would be, I'm not sure the year, but we were in India twice for the Asia Rugby series, but we actually made it for the first time into the championship game. We ended up losing, but it was one of the most memorable moments, I think, to actually, take a trophy home for Guam. Such a small place compared to, all the countries we're playing have such a wide spectrum of players, and we all share challenges, funding, things like that. So it's always just fun. I know sometimes I ask myself, the pain that's coming when you play sevens, because once your energy is gone, you're just running on fumes, and you have to pull yourself, together. Like Pei said, you have to rise together because there's only seven of you, and there's a reason we continue to come out and do it, even though we're getting older and older. But it's the love and the fun of the game. So I think that one specific game was probably one of the
I'm
biggest,
just curious.
most
I'm
memorable.
just curious. How long does it take, to travel from Guam to India? And what's the process like?
Oh, that was that took us over 48 hours. With stops, we had a
Wow.
layover that was 11 hours in
Wow.
Singapore, I think. So we were all sleeping on the airport floor. None of the restaurants were open. We took about maybe 4 or 5 flights just to get there. So that was really draining, and we only had a day to adjust. Um, so that was hard.
But I'm sure you enjoy it, right? The whole
Oh yeah.
experience of,
Yeah,
yeah.
we definitely enjoy, especially, and I'm sure all the girls can attest to this, that you're traveling with your sisters, and what's funner than like a giant sleepover for 5 days in a row?
Can you relate to
I
that,
think
Alisa?
what Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. I think what Olivia said about, what you're getting into when you play sevens is very accurate. I have many, many photos of me and my teammates and just how bruised we get after each game. And I think it was one of my first few tournaments. And I came back and I told my parents about it. And they went, at least it looks like someone took you and just beat you with, a stick or something. I said, no, 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 it was just a rugby tournament. And I think all the girls can, count the number of bruises they've had after each tournament. But it is something you look back to, the day after, and you wake up feeling completely exhausted and like you ran into a wall, but you still get back on the field. And I think that's really the rugby spirit, confidence in your teammates. You have that same understanding of how long it took you to train for this, how much pain you're going to feel during and afterwards, but you still want to get back on, more excited each time.
Oh, of course. Definitely. I have a lot of memorable moments with traveling with my brothers as well. And I'm sure Kay has some memorable moments. Can you share with us, Kay?
Yeah, well, my favorite tour, we've actually been only on three tours as a national team. So my favorite one was when I was still a rookie in 2016. It was my first tournament ever, and it was Dubai Sevens. It was a trial to see how a national team side would develop. So this weekend was amazing, one of my favorite ever's.
I think you are
You
one
know
of the
the
few privileged people to play Dubai Sevens.
I know.
Yeah, we played
I
in
can
the
imagine.
golf section. It was we Personally, I had played only one rugby game before going, so it was all new to me. The rugby culture, the games, the bruises. It was like, again, Olivia said, a giant sleepover with rugby.
Yeah.
Those pictures are from 2019. Oh, 2018. I'm sorry.
So that was in Dubai, is it?
Yeah, we went twice, but that was with my club, my home club.
Oh, cool. That must be great. A great experience playing in Dubai as a Dubai Sevens is a world-class tournament. A lot of people, a lot of players look forward to go to Dubai every year to play in that tournament. And of course, I hope one day to go to Dubai and watch it for myself. Hopefully, after all of this has ended. Just a reminder to our audience out there, you are encouraged to ask any questions to our panelists today. Just comment down below and we'll ask the questions for you guys to the panelists today. Anything in particular, just comment down below. We love to take any questions from you guys. There's a question that we are particularly curious about, Olivia. So rugby versus American football, which one do you prefer and why?
Um, Definitely rugby, and it's probably because I just feel like there's more of a showcase of talent and skill and technique in the tackling and the movement of the ball and the quickness of the game. Because American football, there's a lot of stoppage. You have your line in front of you. There's a lot of barriers to get through, so the ball doesn't move as quickly, and it only moves once into one hand. Versus rugby, you can get from one end of the field to the other in a matter of seconds with your team and the speed of the ball. So definitely rugby.
Definitely rugby. Oh, cool. That's good to hear. Pei Yi, I'm sure rugby is not your first sport, right?
Yeah, it's not. I played hockey before this, field hockey, the one with the stick and the ball. Yeah. I mean, before this, so I picked up hockey when I was really young, when I was in secondary school, so back then when I was 13. Yeah, then I played it all the way to my university days, and then when I started university, I mean, I practically kind of neglected my studies my whole secondary school and JC. So then I decided I wanted to focus more on my academics, and then and stuff. So I stopped hockey, but then I picked up rugby, and yeah, so I never looked back to. Yeah.
So, sorry again. Why did you choose rugby over hockey?
Oh, it wasn't a choosing. It's more like I stopped playing hockey and then I picked up rugby, but then I never looked back. Then yeah, yeah. But comparing the two games, I mean, there are certain things I think hockey has helped me, kind of like in terms of the athleticism of it, the space awareness and reading the gameplay and stuff. But in terms of like running and everything, yeah, those are things that you can still translate to rugby. But if you're it's not a choice. Like it would still be rugby over hockey any day, because I feel like for rugby you are really you're putting your body on a line for each other, and there is that connection for sure that no other team sport has, I feel personally.
I agree.
Yeah,
Mm.
I played sport.
What's happening?
Played hockey before. Yeah, also.
There,
Yeah.
there you
There's
go.
a Facebook question that we would like to raise. Can we see the question? This is actually for Alisa. Alisa, you have a friend. To Alisa Islam, what are the challenges and opportunities to grow women's rugby in Bangladesh in your eyes?
That's a great question. I think the challenges are that, especially there's a huge difference between age groups, and yes, as much as I would like to see with Elliott, the continuity I'd say is one of the biggest challenges we have. Is early 20s you get married, and that means that no more rugby, no more things like that. Whereas internationally, or at least when I'm in the West, wait until their 20s, early 30s. Like there's not really an age limit. Whereas in Bangladesh, there's this a societal, age oppression almost, that sports is for university, and then after that you're done. Now you focus on real life. Whereas I think rugby can, be included in that. So I'd say that's just one of the biggest of sports and real life, and I think that can be mixed together. For as for the opportunities, I really do think for Bangladesh currently it's really endless. Looking to Pei Yi and how the situation is in Singapore, and also Olivia in Guam and Kane, Lebanon. It's really interesting to see just how far everyone's progressed and how much they're doing. So I think Bangladesh can really get to that point as well, where we're introducing it more, the unions working more at the younger age demographic and focusing on just growth in internally as well as awareness. So yeah, I think opportunity we really are limitless for now.
Okay, whatever that Alisa said just now, can you relate to that?
Yes, 100%. The rugby development is really, really a tricky thing to go into because you don't want to overdo it. Yeah, you want to recruit more people. So it's like really targeting the hit spots. So people who can be committed, like it, and be up for it really.
In terms of the culturally, if you talk about rugby and cultural clash, is there a such thing in Lebanon for you?
Yeah, well, in Lebanon, it's a bit controversial. So you see a lot of people who are not conservative anymore, but yet you have another group of people who are still conservative. And then come again the parents who are scared for the little girls getting hurt, getting bruises, getting injured. And with all of that, it's really a challenge for us to bring in more people to play rugby, especially for women. So we always try to implement it in schools first, so people get like the parents and the conservative cultures get more familiar with it. And then afterwards, when we meet the parents, we when they watch a few games and see how like it's a friendly environment, it's really more of a sport culture, not a violent slash brutal sport. So it comes again to how we portray the sport.
Pei, you don't have any problems, in terms of cultural and sports in Singapore, I would assume.
We do. I think it's like it's the traditional Asian mindset, you know. So that's why I don't think we have girls don't start playing rugby at a young age because precisely because of this culture thing too. Yeah, we only start really late, and so I think parents are not very supportive as well because they still have a traditional mindset about it, and yeah, they just think that sports it's really sports, especially for women and a contact sport as it is. It's not. It's just not. It's against everything a woman should be. You know. Yeah. So we do have it over here in Singapore as well, but I think there are people who are breaking out of that and doesn't. Yeah.
Olivia, can you relate to that in Guam?
I think the gender, the gender issues, not necessarily cultural. I think that more parents are starting to, they are still scared that their children are gonna get hurt and things like that. But I think that, on Guam, a lot of our older players, men's and women's team, national team players, or, players have been, have been highlighted in the sport are now reaching out and coaching, the middle schools and the high schools. So they're bringing, the proper tackling to these younger players, and teaching them, what the proper ways are. So I think that we're kind of growing out of that, but there's still definitely that stigma that, girls shouldn't be tackling and girls shouldn't be, doing the things like, as Pei was saying, like not what a woman should be. But it's definitely anything a woman can be. So
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of I guess stigma towards women, but I guess you
yeah,
can eliminate that one by one, right? Anyway, I think we should take another Facebook question. There's a couple of questions coming in. Let's see the question. Let me see. Okay, right. Question for all four of these amazing women. What do you think is the most important role you have as an on-field leader in rugby? Okay, I'll let. Okay, Alisa, probably you can answer this one first. Then, yeah, you guys, the rest can follow. Yeah, Alisa.
I think that's a great question. So thank you for that. I think the most important thing I can do, especially on the field for my teammates, is give them the experience of playing as a team and also showcasing their as well. Rugby really gets to show teamwork, but also your individual. I, for one, personally love tackling. Um, I'll take a tackle any day over, a sprint. But I know some girls that you can see their footwork and that's their talent. And something I learned really early on is there's no one size for rugby. So I think on the field, I just want to give the allowance to my teammates to showcase their talents and play as a unit. And just continue to communicate no matter what the score is or the time. If I can convince me and my girls to play at 100, 150%, that's more than what I can ask for of anything else. So, yeah.
Pei Yi, what do you reckon?
Well, personally, I'm more of like I do actions speak louder than words. So I usually just get out there and just do my job, and hopefully like my teammates will get inspired by my actions as well, and we'll all rise up together. Yeah, so I'm more like a get out there and do it kind of leader, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think is the most you know um important role that you have as an on-field leader in rugby? Okay, are you still there? Do we still have K? Or probably another technical problem? Yeah. Okay, probably yeah, another technical. Okay, you know what? Let's move to Olivia. Olivia. So yeah, what do you think is the most important role that you have as an on-field leader in rugby?
I'm gonna go off what Pei said and also Lisa. I think respect too, by, by action, respecting, the talents that your teammates have and allowing them to showcase that, but also respecting your opponents. You're there, to represent your country, especially in international play, and, respecting that this is a sport and the best is going to rise. So, you play with respect for yourself, your country, and also for your opponent. I think it's really important to respect the talent that the rest of the world has to show too. Um, I think that's really important as a leader, and to ensure that your teammates feel the same way and that resonates with them as well.
All of you have a really big responsibility on your shoulders, I guess, as you are, not only an on-field leader, but I guess also an off-field leader for not only rugby but also women's rugby, as you are representative of your country and the captain of the country that you are representing. Next question, we have Katie Sadler from World Rugby. Let's see. Oh no, this is not Katie Sadler. We have so Nasir Hussein. So as ambassador of the sport in your country, or what can you do to help your respective unions to promote the women's game? Um, Start with Olivia. Olivia.
I think definitely going out and helping to show the younger girls, what they can be capable of, what their paths could, possibly be with rugby. Also coaching and teaching and, showing your face to all these younger girls who, look up to people who are on the national team. And trying to spread awareness, of the game and the opportunities that the game offers, for travel internationally and representing your country and playing and enjoying the sport that you love. So
Pei, what do you think of that?
Yeah, so I think it's I mean on top of our responsibility as national athletes, I think it's especially important to when we return back to our clubs to always put on our to do the good stuff over at our club side too, because that's where the sport grows more with the women's side as well. So I think on top of that also like what Olivia said, returning to the community is really important. I think Singapore Rugby has increasingly been trying to reach out to the younger age group as well in terms of women's rugby. There are a lot more tournaments that we have been organizing, like the Emerging Sevens that targets the younger groups and the development side. So then showing our faces there and showing the national with the national athletes showing our faces there and being an inspiration or a role model that will help the union as well to spread the word for and creating awareness for the game too over here in Singapore.
Alisa, you want to add anything to that?
I think what Olivia and Pei said is perfect. It's just showing your face, showing your love and passion for rugby, and really what you can do with rugby as you progress into your life and career. That rugby can still be a part of that. So yeah, just giving back.
Okay, I think in West Asia it's a little bit different as in terms of geographically and also culturally it's a bit different than everywhere else. So what do you reckon that you can do to promote women's rugby in West Asia or specifically in Lebanon?
I really do think that it's not only about the sports. So when we showcase what a woman can do in rugby, it's not only about the sports itself. It's more about how people will see you in a society, what will differentiate you in a group of other sportswomen, what it can add to your personality, to your character. So rugby really forges your personality as a woman, especially if you pick it up at a young age. So then again, where rugby development should really start with the younger age groups and then try to get it to high schools and universities, because it's really not about only the sport. It's really much bigger than this. Rugby is much bigger than only just a sport. At least for me, it's not.
What Pei, what is the most I think what is the biggest thing that you look forward to in terms of rugby after this whole thing ends?
Meeting my teammates. Okay, like back then we always joke that we see each other more often than we see our family and friends. But now that I haven't seen them in so long, I appreciate and I cherish the times with them so much more. So first and foremost is just meeting my teammates and just I don't know, man, just hanging out with them for a bit first before yeah. That's what I look forward to most now
How about you,
after this
Olivia?
whole
What do
COVID.
you? Right, yeah. Olivia, what do you
Um,
look forward to?
yeah, definitely seeing my teammates, our sisters, and but also just playing. We rarely, have tournaments, like I said, where we can gather enough girls to have a great competition spread. So just being able to hit and actually get on the field and play an actual game is what I'm looking forward to. We haven't touched a ball in so long, so definitely looking forward to hitting again.
Yeah, you want to tackle somebody now, right?
Yeah.
You look ready, man. You look ready. How about you, Alisa?
Yeah,
Are
with my
you
training
ready?
attire and everything. Come on, give me a
Yeah.
ball. Give me someone to tackle.
Alisa, are you ready to tackle someone right now?
Well, I'm so ready. I think the rest of the Bangladesh Federation is aware of how much I enjoy it. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to putting on, a pair of cleats instead of my indoor running shoes, just a pair of cleats and get on, the grass. That's that.
Oh, for sure. I think everyone is looking forward. And I'm sure, Kay, you are looking forward as well for some rugby action, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I really, really miss my girls, honestly, and I just want to get to tackling as well. Because I've been playing a bit of beach rugby, so I'm fine with passing. I've been doing that, but like the intensity of a game, the adrenaline you get, even in trainings, we really do miss that.
For sure. I'm sure everyone not only miss training, not only miss rugby, and also you guys miss the other aspects of rugby, which is doing the fitness, passing the rugby ball.
No, we don't miss the fitness.
Are you sure? I think Pei Yi misses the fitness part. Are you Pei Yi?
She's one of those.
Yeah, a little bit. If it means I get to see my teammates, why not? Let's just get out there and just run together, yeah.
For sure. And I think the most that we miss about rugby is the camaraderie and also the friendship between friends. The just that you guys mentioned just now, the thing that you look forward to most is seeing your friends, spending some time with each other, and of course you've been spending a lot of time with your families because due to the current situation, but I'm sure things will get better, and we pray for the best for every country, everyone to have the best of situations, and hopefully this thing will end soon so that we can get our freedoms back. I want to travel to each and every countries that you guys are from. I want to travel to Guam. I want to see I heard the water there is really nice, in terms of the corals, in terms of scuba diving, so I might just drop down to Guam once everything is has ended, and probably go scuba diving there, and also probably visit each and every one of you guys in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, in Lebanon, and probably in Singapore. I always go to Singapore every few months, so yeah, I'll definitely catch that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being with us on Asia Rugby Live. You guys have been great. Thank you very much for sharing your, number one, your experience, and number two, your passion. So, we can see there's a lot of passion in your eyes. Thank you very much for sharing with that with not only me and also our audience throughout Asia and throughout the world. Last words from me. Thank you very much. Hope to see you guys again. Hope to see you guys soon after all this pandemic has ended, when we can travel. Hopefully rugby will restart soon in your country. See you guys again in the next episode of Asia Rugby Live abroad. This is Asia Rugby Live.